That's a little bit more important. And then come training camp, then we can start worrying about it. But let's not get too worried about that yet.
Okay, so then give me the number one reason you don't have trust in Sean Payton right now. You said there's a list of 20.
There's a lot. There's a lot. Look, he's got this resume, right? And he's 620 winning percentage and 16 seasons as a head coach.
Yep.
Been to the playoffs 9 times, won a Super Bowl. And so people just give him a free pass, just like everything he does. Well, he must know what he's doing. But his 1 year in Denver, in a lot of ways, was a disaster. So my number one reason is his time in Denver's been a mess. I don't care what he did in New Orleans. Okay. That seems like ages ago.
It does.
It was a different NFL at that point. He had Drew Brees then. So to some extent, it's irrelevant. It's all the things that have happened since he got here, whether it's on the field, losing 70-20.
Yeah.
Right. And as I go through this list, just keep in mind, like, what would have happened if VJ, Vic, or Hackett would have had these things happen?
Okay.
Right. He lost 70-20. He called a timeout at the end before punting at the end of the first half against Kansas City, allowed the Chiefs to go down and get a field goal before halftime. He called the wrong play because he couldn't read his play sheet because he didn't have his glasses on.
Yep.
He admitted after the season that they didn't develop Marvin Mims, and that was on the coaches. He took on $85 million in dead cap with Russell Wilson.
Yep.
He had too many lattes with Jarrett Bell and caused this riff and all this stuff with the Jets. And then the Jets came in here motivated and beat the Broncos at home.
Yep.
A game that, looking back, they really could have used. Like, the list just goes on and on and on and on of missteps versus find me the things he's done well since he's been here. So I'm kind of going on it of like, hey, if it's a friend, if it's a hire, if it's someone you're dating, like, I don't really care what you did in your past life.
Yeah.
What have you done since we've been together?
Okay.
And if we've been buddies and you've been just a train wreck, I don't really care what you did 15 years ago.
Yeah.
What have you done in my presence? And it's been a mess.
Okay.
It's been a total mess.
Well, first of all, I love the way that you're comparing the two situations.
Well, I mean, trying to make it relevant.
Make it relevant. So what you've told me is you are team quarterback over team coach. You're team Russell Wilson, team Drew Brees over Sean Payton.
Yes. I think typically it goes hand in hand, but typically the quarterback's more important than the head coach.
Okay. And I do agree with that. However, I do have trust, and maybe it's because this is what we're offered, right? You got to take it or you're going to leave it, and you're either going to be a fan or you're not going to be a fan, one of those type of things.
Yeah.
My only question to you, though, is if you're handed a bowl of Velveeta cheese and you have to turn it into some sort of fondue at the end of the day, like,
sure,
you have to have the right pieces to do it, right? How many good pieces are on the Denver Broncos right now to make this Velveeta cheese really good fondue?
Less than when Sean Payton got here.
Really?
Justin Simmons is gone.
Fair.
Russell Wilson is gone.
Although Russ,
Jerry Jeudy is gone.
That train.
I mean, we're fixing to find out with Russ, right? Like, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Is we're gonna find out what does he do in Pittsburgh. If he falls flat on his face, Sean Payton looks brilliant.
Yep.
I don't know. Taking $85 million of dead cap is brilliant, but he's vindicated.
And I think we both agree, ownership said you can't turn around with Russ. Okay, that's fine. We'll move on from him. Like, Sean Payton got hired.
Ownership was, they hired Sean Payton to run things. They're gonna take his word for it. It was a mistake, but okay, it's water under the bridge. Here's my thing with Sean Payton is the people that just the Sean Payton truthers.
Yeah.
They just use the same logic all the time. So
he won with Drew Brees. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you
and he's
need to know.
Quarterback genius, right? So they go sign Jarrett Stidham last offseason, 2-year, $10 million deal.
Yep.
Oh, Sean Payton must see something in him that nobody else saw. Nope. We all know what he is. He's a journeyman at best. They trade for Zach Wilson. Oh, Sean Payton's going to be able to get the most out of his talents. Football rehab time.
Yeah.
And now it's, they go draft Bo Nix, the 6th quarterback off the board, but they take him at number 12 overall. Don't worry. Sean Payton's smarter than everybody else. He hoodwinked everybody else. Well, all three of those things can't be true.
True.
Only one quarterback's going to start. So at best, 2/3 of those things are wrong. At worst, all three of them are wrong, which is what I think is going to turn out to be the case. But they just keep using the same logic.
Whoa. No faith in Bo Nix?
No.
Why not?
Because he was the 6th quarterback taken off the board. Typically speaking, that guy's taken in the 4th round and is a complete and utter journeyman. It was a reach beyond belief.
Okay.
They have tried to spin this and make it seem like it was our idea all along. That's what we wanted. And boy, we really buffaloed Minnesota and they traded up to get JJ McCarthy. I'm not buying any of it for a second. I'm just not. No. And they're already like planting stories and telling Colin Cowherd how good he looks. Like you're trying too hard. They're trying to convince us too much. Putting him out in front of the media the last couple of weeks, setting the stage so he's going to have some success and look good, tilting the field in his direction. It's just, come on. I'm just not buying it. And listen, I hope I'm wrong about Sean Payton. I hope I'm wrong about Bo Nix. I'm not rooting against either one of them.
Yeah.
I just, and I guess a lot of this comes from listening to the morning show on the Fan. I mean, the president and the vice president of the Sean Payton fan club, Mark Schlereth and Mike Evans, like, come on, fellas. Like, what are we basing this on? And how much would we have just been all over Nathaniel Hackett if he said he called the wrong play?
Yeah.
Because he couldn't read his play sheet.
It would 100% be. Well,
and nobody mentions it. Nobody. I feel like I'm the only one that ever brings it up.
I feel like I've mentioned it
okay.
a few times.
Well, good. Welcome to the team. I'm glad we have.
I sit here because when we originally came into the show, I was like, "Oh, James and I are going to argue today." I was like, "Great, this will be fun," because I'm like, I do trust Sean Payton. And
why?
Now you said, I know, but now you sit here and you say these things, and I'm like, crap. Why do I trust Sean Payton?
Right.
Because I feel like you have to have like any sort of hope. Otherwise, the season is over, and it's like I want to be excited for something.
I want to be excited too, but I'm not just going to have blind faith in someone who's given me no reason to believe in him.
Yeah.
None. And he's given me a ton of reasons not to. A ton of reasons not to.
Okay, the LASIK thing, it's funny. He clearly, though, like, let's just pretend you're at your job. If you don't feel comfortable at your job, you're never saying something like that. So clearly he feels very comfortable over there, which is a good thing.
He just can't help himself. He just has to talk.
He has too many lattes all the time, except for when he's sick, and then he barely gives us anything at media day. I get your point, James. I do. And I see the comments coming in, and people are saying like, okay, well, Andy Reid never won a Super Bowl without Mahomes, like all of these type of comments. So
he went to like 5 straight NFC title games in Philly, and they went to a Super Bowl. Like, okay, all right, fine.
So how many years do you give Sean Payton then to like prove it to you?
Depends on what this year looks like.
Only?
It depends on what this year looks like. If they go
they
3 and 14,
nobody on this team though. I mean, what coach can come in here and do anything with this roster?
Wait a minute. When I was trying to say that to defend Russ, I mean, how many times have you heard me say it's hard to soar like an eagle when you're flying with turkeys?
But you still had Justin Simmons. Cortland Sutton doesn't want to be here, so I'm pretty much counting him out of the box.
Wonder why he doesn't want to be here. Wonder who ran him off. I mean, now all of a sudden, see, here come the excuses. Here come the Sean Payton and Bo Nix excuses. Oh, the roster stinks.
It does.
Okay. All right. Well, it was when I was saying, hey, what's Russ supposed to do with Kroll and Troutman and Samaje Perine and Brandon Johnson and little Jordan Humphrey on the field late in the season? Everybody's like, well, he's the $160 million contract supposed to lift all boats. Like he's some sort of miracle worker. I'm telling you, the Sean Payton trade, if it weren't for the Russell Wilson trade, we'd be screaming about what an awful deal this was. A first-round pick
for a head coach.
5 years, $90 million.
Yeah. But that doesn't hurt the team.
The team is so much worse off right now than the day they hired him. And would they be in this pickle if they'd have hired Jim Harbaugh? See, this is why I think the guy gets a free pass. Like he's got to go earn the benefit of the doubt from Broncos country. He's got to go earn it. I don't care what he did with the Saints in 2009.
And I agree with that. How long ago was that? What were you doing in 2009? I was a freshman in high school.
Doing this, but
no, I was a freshman in high school. So.
I mean, it's 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Ages ago.
I'm with you on that front.
So it's just, and it wasn't here. He didn't do it here. So it has even less, currency to me. It just doesn't matter. Then he retired for a year, and then he came back like.
Well, he retired for a year because he couldn't dig himself out of the hole. Oh crap! I'm just giving you more ammo.
Wonder what's going to happen here when he has a hole.
You're not wrong. I don't care about the money they paid him because it doesn't really hurt the team. The first round pick hurts the team.
Correct. They have cash to burn.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect the cap. So yeah, but the first round pick definitely hurt.
It does. I just don't know how I'm supposed to feel in this situation. Again, I really thought you and I were going to come in here. We were going to be hitting heads, being like, oh, and now I'm sitting here like, crap.
I just
You have
want to
some
hear
good
what he's
points.
done well since he's been here.
I mean, he's figured out the way he wants to run the offense. You have
Has
to
he?
give him props. I mean, yeah, it looks totally different just from seeing OTAs from the past 2 years. It looks very,
Okay.
very different. Now, if they have a star player versus 3 quarterbacks who could all possibly be journeymen, good question, but like it looks very different.
Because it's dink and dunk?
Yeah.
Oh, super.
I
That
mean, it
sounds
won't be
fun.
exciting, but also how many times? Okay,
It won't be exciting.
it won't.
This
It's
is your
gonna be
argument of
short
why I should
passes.
believe in Sean Payton because he's put in this offense
But-
that won't be exciting.
It'll be short passes that can move down the field.
I don't buy
Okay,
this.
my question to you then. Would you rather have Russell Wilson get sacked 3 times, but possibly have a 4th down on a Hail Mary play, score you a touchdown? Or would you rather have consistency moving down the field?
Neither.
Well,
I'd rather
one.
have Russell Wilson. Because here's the thing, and it's what all these offensive-minded head coaches, they've
You
fallen
would
into this
rather
trap.
smack your head 4 times out of 5 because Russell Wilson got himself into a sack.
Because what you say, it sounds good, but it's not realistic. Mike Shanahan made the same mistake going with Brian Greasy after Elway retired.
Okay.
Gary Kubiak made the same mistake going with Trevor Siemian after Peyton Manning retired. They
So
fall in
sad.
love with the Wednesday whiteboard wizard.
Yeah.
That the number of times you can put together 12 consecutive plays
Mhm.
and drive right down the field where you don't have a bad snap, a holding penalty, a running back trips, a drop ball,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, 3.3 yards per play. Now we're behind the chains and we're, might as well warm up Riley Dixon. Okay. Like I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think you can do it 4 or 5 times a game to put 28 points on the board. I think you're going to get 2 drives that go that way. And then maybe you get a turnover and kick a field goal and you're scoring 17.
I mean, that's what we saw anyways with Russell Wilson, except he got himself in sacks and then they were back 20 yards and then he had to throw a Hail Mary and they scored on some.
I just think if it weren't for Russ's athleticism, I don't know what this offense would have done last year. And I think we're fixing to see it. I mean, we saw what Jarrett Stidham came out and did.
Yeah.
And other than throwing a 5-yard pass to little Jordan Humphrey that turned into a 54-yard touchdown, he did nothing. That offense was awful.
Yeah.
Just awful. Those last 2 games, what was it? The Chargers and the Raiders?
Yep.
Okay. We're just going to see that with a rookie.
Is it going to be the rookie? Which journeyman is it going to be week 1?
I think it's Bo Nix.
I would hope so. But to be honest, Jarrett Stidham's winning right now. Just from being out there, like he is clearly winning.
Well, he should be. He's the veteran. He's been in the system.
Which is ridiculous.
Although, here's another thing that and I just said it too, because all the Sean Payton truthers repeat it. Oh, but Jarrett Stidham, he's been in the system for a year, so he's got a leg up. Well, but you're also telling me that they had to scrap the whole system because of Russ, so now it's a new system. So, like, which is it? Has he been in the system for a year, or did they have to come up with a new? It's just whatever conveniently makes Sean Payton look good. That's what the truthers bring out. Blame it on Russ when things didn't go well, and now it's all Sean going to come in and fix it. Plus, he's got a rookie quarterback. What quarterback has he developed? Drew Brees had been in a Pro Bowl before he ever got to New Orleans. Now, he wasn't as good as he turned out to be.
Yeah.
He made him better.
Yes.
And it's like the Elway Shanahan argument, right? Like they needed each other, but Elway went to Super Bowls without Shanahan. Shanahan never went to Super Bowl without Elway.
Yeah. I'm Googling just see like what's the list of QBs.
He was the quarterbacks coach in Dallas when Tony Romo was on the roster, but it was before Tony Romo ever played.
That also, that doesn't count for me.
No, and it was 22 years ago.
What are we talking about?
What were you doing 22 years ago?
Like
in the 6th grade?
22 years ago? I think I was going into 1st grade.
Right. The last time he had any hand in a young quarterback, right? He started one. Ian Book was the only rookie he's ever started. That was the COVID game when our own Philip Lindsay was the starter on the other side of it.
Yep.
They drafted Garrett Grayson, 3rd round out of CSU, and all the Rams fans were telling me, Sean Payton sees him. You know how many passes Garrett Grayson threw as a pro?
3?
0.
Well,
not
take preseason
1.
games count?
No.
Okay. Well,
so he was going to develop Garrett Grayson.
Yeah.
He didn't throw a single pass. He was a 3rd round pick. He was the guy that was going to replace Drew.
You need to go in and get your Google fingers going for all of the QBs that Sean Payton has, quote unquote, had like touched at some point and see how many have actually done something. That's where you need to do your little Google fingers.
I mean, you're going to hear that, he had, when Drew Brees was hurt, they went 5-0 with Jameis Winston. Yeah, throw him for 160 yards a game.
Interesting.
Taysom Hill.
I know.
He gave that guy big money to come in and throw 2 passes a game and basically be Tim Tebow.
I mean, it's going to be boring. Like, I hope nobody is looking at what we're going to watch this year and have it be exciting. It's going to be very boring. But if you score touchdowns, do you really care? And
they're not going to score touchdowns.
They score touchdowns.
I don't think they're going to score touchdowns. I don't. I think you have to have big strike ability. You have to get big plays in order to be a team that averages more than 24 points a game. And if you don't, you're not going to win squat in this league.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, now I'm curious. So everybody in the comments, let us know. In Sean We Trust, is it a misguided mantra in Broncos country? I see everybody chiming in. And of course, people are just saying, you just love Russell Wilson, and that's why.
Well,
Team Russ or team...
We're fixing to find out. And you know what we might find out? We might find out it was both their fault.
Which is probably the case.
Yeah.
I do think that Russ is done.
Well, I don't.
Why?
But do I think Russ
What showed you last year that he was going to be okay?
The throw he had in Buffalo. The throw he had in L.A.
Oh, my gosh. The one throw.
It's special.
You
can't coach that.
The one.
You can't. Well, those are just off the top of my head.
Good. I'm glad
the Hail Mary he threw against Washington.
In the league?
The Hail Mary he threw against Washington. Most of Cortland Sutton's 10 touchdowns came on plays where Russ had to extend it with his feet, roll into the right, finding Cortland Sutton in the back of the end zone.
That's because he didn't get sacked on those plays compared to every other one.
He had no running game whatsoever. He had wide receivers who run into each other running crossing routes. I mean, I don't know how that's Russ's fault.
Last year was such a disaster.
Oh, you mean Sean Payton's first year? Exactly.
It was such a disaster. It's going to be bad. Is there anything about this Broncos system that does get you a little excited?
No, they stink.
Really?
No.
I'm excited for Tim Patrick to return.
Why?
Because he was Mr. Consistent. I was so excited for him. The 2 years that he got hurt, I was heartbroken.
I'm excited for him personally that he's back on the field.
Yeah.
Yes. But after a knee injury that cost him a whole year and an Achilles injury that cost him a whole year, do I have any confidence that he's going to do anything?
That's true. Javonte Williams hasn't looked the same. Like, when you come back from injury, it takes 2 years.
Right. So
if you're lucky.
No. Another season of Adam Troutman running 3-yard outs on 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
Throwing it to him in the flat and getting tackled short of the sticks.
It's gonna be
That's
so
what we're
bad.
excited about.
Okay, well,
Alex Singleton making tackles 9 yards downfield.
Everyone's saying you're a Broncos hater right now, so I need you to say something that you are like excited about.
I love the new uniforms. I think they're great.
And I hate them. So
I think they're fantastic. And then the throwbacks are awesome.
The throwbacks are sick.
They put out a graphic. Go to Denver Broncos on Twitter, and it was on 99 days until opening.
Yeah.
Opening game, and it had Zach Allen on it, and it had like the retro 70s look to it. Phenomenal.
Yeah,
the graphics department off the charts.
Nothing on the field though. Nothing.
They got a really good right guard.
Who are you grading? Who, if you have to, besides Sean Payton, who are you watching to quote unquote grade the most this season?
Other than the quarterbacks?
Yes. And Sean Payton.
Oh boy. I do think VJ is on the hot seat more than people think.
Storyline.
And this is an Andrew Mason thing. I'm stealing it from him.
Yep.
But Jim Leonard coming on that staff, he's a guy that's been a coordinator at the college level, interim head coach at Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to hire him originally. He took a year off. I think he had like a surgery of some sort, of back surgery or something, and he had to recover from. To me, he's the defensive coordinator in wait.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just waiting for VJ to fall flat on his face. If Jim Leonard had been on the staff last year, I don't know that VJ survived 70-20.
Totally agree with
right? You gotta. It's easy to say, hey, somebody should be fired. Well, who are you turning it over to?
Yep.
Now that guy is there. So, and look, I like VJ. I think he's repeatedly been dealt a bad hand by this team. His situation when he was the head coach and having no power. So
he can get dealt a bad hand and you give him a pass?
No, nobody gave him a pass. I'm not giving him a pass, but he did get dealt a bad hand. He found out TJ Ward got cut from the media.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a bad hand.
That's a very
talk
very
about just getting undercut by your boss. So I think VJ will be a head coach again sometime. I think he'll probably find more success.
Just like Russell Wilson's going to go win the Super Bowl next year.
Here's what that has a pretty good chance of happening. Here's what else has a good chance of happening.
I just see Jake's eyes over here and they are wide.
Bo Nix is going to be Josh Rosen. Shadur Sanders becomes Kyler Murray. That's what's going to happen. They're going to take a quarterback in back-to-back years.
Ooh, wow. Interesting. We'll leave it on that
June 3rd.
one. You're
prediction
saying it.
has been
We'll
been
put that
set.
on social media so you
But the
can go
question
find
will
it
be,
if you
who will
need
be
to.
the head coach at that point?
Sean Payton, man.
Sean, we trust.
In Sean, we trust. All right. Well, reading some of the comments, people definitely disagree with you more, but some people do agree with you. So you're not alone in this land.
Glad to know some people are smart.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Coffee Break. Thank you for hanging with us on this Merilatt Monday. Always a pleasure having you. Check out his article, denversports.com, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.